Welcome back to the Minute Women podcast.
Oh my goodness, you did the intro.
I know, I just went for it.
I'm Grace.
I'm Linnea.
And
I don't know what I'm doing now because it's all backwards.
I know. We're breaking new grounds.
We just are. Just are.
And this is another episode of Have You Got a Minute?
Sure is.
And we have many things to talk about. Pressing Canadian national news.
National news.
Justin Bieber is releasing Timbit flavors.
Yeah.
Called Timbiebs. When did you, where were you?
Where were you?
When?
I was at work, I guess, but it was like, for some reason I was on YouTube, but I think it was like for a work purpose. I was on YouTube. I can't remember why, but it came up as a YouTube commercial, and it was one of the ones where you could skip it. But I was like, absolutely not. I cannot
will be
skip
watching
this.
this whole commercial.
I have
Thank
to
you
watch
very
this whole
much.
commercial. And the commercial was really funny because it's just Justin Bieber in like a very Canadian like office space. Like you can tell that it's like the top floor of another business that they've just got a whiteboard in. And he's talking to this Tim Horton's rep, this lady. And she's like, just like, tell me your ideas. Just like, be free. Just
Let's
like
spitball.
Let's spitball here. Yeah. And they came up with some ideas for Timbits.
Yeah, I found out because I was in the drive-thru getting coffee. Of course, the biggest traffic jam
Always.
in the city of Sydney, Nova Scotia, is always the Tim
Naturally.
Hortons drive-thru. And so I was sitting there a long time with my brother, and then we saw the Timbiebs like logo. I was like, what is it? Like, I did not understand. I was like, my first response was like, Biebs, like tiny, like babies, like baby Timbits. Are we making Timbits smaller? They already have the cereal.
Yeah.
Do they need to get smaller than that? And Aiden was like, that's not an I. And it's like, how could it be an I? It's like upside down. It's an L. He was like, Timbiebs. They're Timbiebs, obviously. And then he's like, oh, maybe they're Tim Plebs. I was like, that makes more sense.
That can sell.
And then we eventually figured out, I was like, Biebs. Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
He's making Timbits.
He's making Timbits.
Which is absolutely necessary. So I pulled up the like media release on the Timbiebs.
Nice. You know, I saw him live.
Really?
Yeah, when he was...
How old were you?
12.
Oh, the perfect age to see him.
Oh,
then.
and he was like 12. And it was at a Summer Rush concert in Halifax.
Baby Justin Bieber.
Yeah, and he...
As in the song.
He only had one song. He only had Baby. Everything else he did were covers. He actually did, like, he just played, like, an acoustic guitar. And just, like, he was not a headlining act at all.
Before the fame got to him.
Yeah.
Now he's a broken individual.
And he was, like, he had the hair. He had, like, the classic hair and the classic, like, little zip-up hoodie. He was quite adorable. But he did this cover. Like, it was nice because the kid actually can sing.
He is talented.
He did a cover of the song I'll Be by like Edwin McCain. Like,
okay.
And You and Me, which are two songs that sound kind of similar. And he did this like mashup cover of it. And it was actually like really cute. And
He's an artist.
I was like, well, 12-year-old Linnea was like, that's genius.
Oh, has anyone ever mixed two songs before? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah, but I did. I saw him at Alderney Landing in Dartmouth.
In Dartmouth.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Lady Gaga was also there. But do you know who the headliner was? This is the killer. This is what slaps. The headliner was Akon.
Oh, hell yeah. Akon fucking rocks.
So at one point, Justin Bieber...
He's a convict.
And Lady Gaga were the, like, opening lame acts.
For Akon.
Yeah. How the tables have turned.
Yeah, no, my brother saw Akon perform when he was touring with Gwen Stefani for Sweet Escape.
Nice.
I think it was called the Sweet Escape Tour.
I think it was.
Which, in my mind, that's like Akon comes out to sing Nobody Want to See Us Together.
Yeah.
And then Sweet Escape.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit. Gwen's like, this will be super funny.
Best song of 2007, in my opinion.
100%.
Sweet Escape by Gwen Stefani and Akon. So Tim Hortons and Justin Bieber are teaming up to release 3 flavors of Timbits that they're calling Timbiebs.
Talk about quintessentially Canadian shit.
Well, this is the thing. They're like, this is a huge departure for us.
Why?
Because they're like, normally we just like pair with like professional hockey players. So now we're doing something new.
Music.
So retail analyst Bruce Winder said it helps them to appeal to a younger demographic. This is such a boomer thing to say, which is something they desperately need to do. Is it?
Is it?
Tim Hortons to me is like, it doesn't have an age.
Tim Hortons is fine. I'm not worried about Tim Hortons.
The coffee's trash.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff they make is not good.
But
the Timbits are good.
I was going to say, but am I going to eat there?
But will I eat there?
Absolutely.
Because it's available.
Yeah.
It's always there. Like, I don't think image is the problem.
No.
It's quality of product that is the problem.
It's like Subway. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm still going to eat there.
Yeah, it's just on every campus
Yeah.
and in every food court and every airport.
And
Like, I will eat it.
Yeah. And it's cheap. It's relatively inexpensive.
Yeah. No, it's way cheaper than most places.
So for sure.
Yeah. They're saying Justin Bieber is a good opportunity to connect with Gen Z and young millennials.
Wow. Am I a young millennial?
I think so.
Me and Justin are the same age.
Because I think if you're
young,
I think if you're born like 92 or after,
okay.
that's like young millennial.
Okay.
Technically. There are millennials in their 40s. They're also concerned with expanding their brand awareness in the United States because they're like far behind chains like Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks. The U.S. is a very crowded coffee market, and Tim Hortons has been struggling down there. I love that.
Why though?
Mr. Winder
thrive
is funny.
in Canada.
But thrive in Canada, but also it's like they're struggling down there. It's like, ooh. It's like Justin Bieber is massively popular in the U.S. It's like,
no way.
Thank you, Mr. Winder. I don't think they needed this article. I feel like, who needs this explained to them?
I think Justin...
Who was like, I don't get it. They have to explain to the public why they're not partnering with hockey players.
I want to hear it.
Right now. It's like, while hockey will always be part of our DNA, she said the celebrity partnership with Mr. Bieber will help reach new customers. So this is Miss Bagozzi, who is their chief marketing officer.
Good for her.
Hope Bagozzi. It opens us up to different audiences and a different conversation beyond just hockey. Justin has a wide appeal and definitely does appeal to younger guests. I just don't understand. Like, I didn't realize it was such a controversial thing for Tim Hortons to have anything other than a hockey player associated with them. I guess Tim Horton was a hockey player.
Do you think Sidney Crosby's offended? Like, can we get a comment from him?
Well, he's still in half of their commercials. I'm pretty sure Sidney Crosby works at the Tim Hortons in my location. Like, I see him all the time. I do think that is something that Sidney Crosby would do. Retirement plan, he's just like, yeah, I just play golf and work at Tim Hortons now.
I just work at Tim's.
Not because I have to, but because I want to.
Yeah, oh, exactly. 100%.
It's the only place I feel at home.
It's like, I just need a purpose.
It's also not the first time they've done this, so I don't know why it's so controversial. Like, they had a thing with Shawn Mendes in like 2019 or 2020 or something.
Yeah,
it wasn't a product.
No,
that
was
cute.
Product, it was like a commercial, and it showed him like going through the drive-thru like in the morning and like getting his like coffee or whatever.
Yeah,
it was cute. Yeah.
So he's releasing 3 flavors.
Okay.
Which we'll have to try when they come out.
Absolutely.
Comes out November 29th. Mark it on your calendars. Chocolate with white fudge.
Okay. Like in it?
I don't know if it's like a glaze or if it's I have no pictures, unfortunately. Okay. Sour cream with chocolate chip, which I'm hesitant because sour cream glaze is the best.
It's the superior
Timbit flavor.
Yeah.
So, can you make it better? Yeah. Questionable.
I don't know.
And then the last one's birthday cake waffle, which I have a really hard time imagining how that's any different from just birthday cake. Like, what's different?
Like, is it a waffle?
That would be interesting.
If it's a little waffle square?
A flat. They just take birthday Timbits and put them in like a waffle iron.
Oh my god, that'd be so funny.
That would actually be pretty good.
And then there's just little mini waffles in with your Timbits.
Drunk Grace coming home, having gotten Timbits earlier in the day. They're on the counter, and I was like, I can work with this. Just like putting them in a waffle iron. I have some friends who took croissants and did waffle iron croissants.
Why?
Just wanted to try it out.
Okay.
They said it was pretty good. I don't know if that's better than a croissant, though.
When I was in university, we had a waffle iron. I don't know why. I lived with a girl and a guy, and we used to make waffle iron pizza a lot.
I mean, that would be good, I think.
Yeah, so you just like have your dough, and then you'd put your pizza toppings on it, and then you'd like drop it on the waffle iron, and then slap it down, and it would like cook it. But it was
Does
really
it not
good.
get stuck?
No, if not, if you could like grease it, you
Okay.
just like put a little Pam on there,
Oh, bam.
little.
Well, yeah, that's the big news in Canada. Is Justin
It really
Bieber
is.
Timbiebs.
Timbiebs
Timbibs.
with an S. Thank God.
I know. When I was looking up a story to like get some quotes from, and the first thing that popped up is Timbiebs spelled with a Z, and I was like, no,
That's too much.
no.
That's too much.
Come on, Tim Hortons.
He's a married man now. Like,
He is.
yeah,
That's weird.
yeah.
It's not weird. I'm happy for him. I
Good
guess.
for him.
He just doesn't seem like a normal person. Like
No.
some celebrities, you're like, I bet you're just a normal person when you go home. I don't think that about Justin Bieber.
That's how I feel about Tom Holland.
Really?
I feel like he lives a normal life.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
thought you meant the opposite.
No, I mean, like, I feel like he just goes home and like plays video games and like
Yeah.
lives his life and goes to the grocery store and looks for sale items.
What celebrity would you want to like grab a beer with?
Oof. Alive. Let's only go with people that are alive because
Yes.
it gets too complicated.
Because you think you could genuinely like chill and have a beer with them, and it wouldn't be like, oh my god, I love you kind of thing.
Oh.
You know, just purely because you think they're a good time.
Right. The first one that comes to mind, and I think this is just because I've been rewatching Modern Family, is Sofia Vergara. Like, I think she'd be
Oh, yeah.
so fun.
Should be a good time.
But, like, well, also, like, chill. Like, she'd just be like, let's go get a drink. And then we'd just, like, shoot
Yeah.
shit. And, like, she's just funny.
Yeah.
And, like, would be super chill.
I also feel like it could go like it could randomly become a really wild night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm cool with that. I think she'd be cool. And she's got, like, a cool story. She had a kid when she was, like, 18. And,
Yeah,
like,
and she's-
continued with her career. And, like,
Yeah.
now she's with Joe Migliano or
Joe
whatever.
Beautiful Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Who was in Magic Mike.
Yes. What about you?
For some reason, what's coming to mind is Jake Gyllenhaal. Like, I don't know. I think it's probably because all the Taylor Swift stuff has
I was
been out,
just
and
gonna
I know
say.
he's the ex that this most recent thing is
So-
about. But I like Jake Gyllenhaal. For all you Swifties out there, I just think he's nice. He was like one of my first celebrity crushes. I think he was my first celebrity crush, to be honest.
So, Grace and I, how I know that our friendship can stand the test of time is that Grace doesn't love Taylor Swift, and that's fine. I don't think you hate her. I think
No.
you are not a Swiftie, you don't love her.
Yeah.
I, however, am. And last night we were out at I told my mom that we were out at the club, and my mom's like, "Oh, what's that?" And I'm like, "The curling club." Dumb mom, obviously. We were out at the curling club, and yesterday was November, back in time before
November
this episode
12th.
comes out. Yesterday was November 12th, and for everybody who is a Swiftie, you know that Taylor Swift's album came out, the re-record of Red, Taylor's version, and that included a 15-minute video of the song All Too Well, which is about Jake Gyllenhaal. And Grace, we were sitting at the table, and these other two girls, Haley, who we're friends with, and her sister who's visiting, we all just like had this moment, and we were like, oh, like you want to go out and watch the video too? Like, okay, let's go. And the reason I know that Grace and I have an amazing friendship is because Grace let me go. Like, she doesn't need to be there to like watch the Taylor Swift, but she respects that I needed to go watch the Taylor Swift
To be
video.
honest, I had no idea why they were leaving. I was like, what are they so excited? Like, why are they going? And Aiden was like, they're going to watch a Taylor Swift video. I was like, oh.
Yeah, okay, got it. Good.
Yeah.
And we did, and it was great. But like, yeah, I feel like Jake Gyllenhaal would have some really hot takes right now, and he's under fire.
He's
he had
probably
to
under fire.
he had to disable his Instagram comments last night.
Because of Taylor Swift?
Oh yeah.
See, that's what I mean. Like, I don't hate Taylor Swift. I also don't think her problems are as big as she makes them out to be.
Oh, absolutely not. And
Making
especially
a
like,
whole career about how people break up with
Yeah.
you. Eventually, if you've had that many crazy exes, you might have to confront the fact that you might be the crazy ex.
and I think that's
you kind of are. in some
also
ways.
now, because she's like 31 now, and like her music has definitely, like, that tune has changed, and this is a re-release of her at 21,
Yes.
and so it is interesting to kind of see that juxtaposition of like, And like she said, she's like, I'm happy now and I've like moved on from all of this, but she's like, these songs are still like,
but I can still make a lot of money.
So I can still make a lot of money. Exactly.
I think she's an incredibly intelligent business person.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that like her music is good. It doesn't like, it's not really my genre. It doesn't really speak to me.
That's
but
fair.
I I'm not going to get up on a high horse and like rail against her. If I got dumped and I was really sad about it and there was a way for me to leverage that for tens of millions of dollars, I would absolutely take that route every single time.
Every time. Why choose the other option?
Yes.
But yes. So, yes, Jake Gyllenhaal would be interesting to go for a drink with right now. And I mean...
And then I think maybe his sister would come.
Maggie
Gyllenhaal. She seems chill. They seem like cool.
No doubt Jake Gyllenhaal is a beautiful human being.
Yeah, like as a kid, he was like definitely my like celebrity crush.
Also, as cliche as it is, Brokeback Mountain is one of my favorite movies. That is a beautiful film.
It is good. I would like to clarify my answer though. Jake Gyllenhaal or hopefully both Ryan Reynolds.
Oh yeah.
Them together are hilarious.
Yeah.
And I also love Ryan Reynolds. He just seems like a great time. He seems like a great human.
And he's
a great
Canadian.
dad. Canadian. I honestly up there with like best Canadians.
And
Ryan Reynolds.
His wife is beautiful and he loves her.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're like, they have like
Twitter wars. They're cute.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's the kind of love that I want.
Yeah,
like,
they roast each other.
Yeah.
Like aggressively, like to the point where it's like unkind, but it's funny.
Yeah. To the point where you're sure behind scenes, they're just kind of like, did I go too far today? They're like, maybe.
Yeah. It's like,
they're like, I'm really, really sorry.
You can wash the dishes tonight.
You can wash the dishes. Yeah. And he like set up a fund for missing and murdered Indigenous women.
In Canada.
Ryan Reynolds is the best.
Yeah.
Hands down. I changed my answer. Jake Gyllenhaal, you're great, but Ryan Reynolds. Number one.
Both if you could. Yeah.
Both if I could. But Ryan Reynolds, for sure.
I would love to go to dinner with you and Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, like his wife.
Yeah, that'd be a good time.
That'd be a great dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A meeting of great Canadians. Well, what do you want to talk about today? What's your have you got a minute?
So I am going to talk about something quintessentially Canadian. I am not going to talk about the birth of hockey. Okay. I'm going to talk about the birth of para hockey.
Ooh, sledge hockey?
Yeah, so we're not allowed to call it sledge hockey anymore, which is fine.
Oh my god, I canceled. No. I canceled myself.
You're not canceled. And that's not true. I don't think we're not allowed to call it sledge hockey anymore. It's just
don't.
Now called para hockey. Okay. It's like the Paralympics. It's just like the type of hockey that's played there. Right. It's because it's like wheelchair basketball. It's like just sit down hockey. The rules are all like the same basically now, and so it's just like hockey that's para for like paraplegic.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to talk about para hockey because the facility that I work at right now is actually hosting a training camp for Team Canada para hockey team and the South Korean para hockey team.
Ooh.
Yeah, so they're
Squid Game.
Right? Well, that's so my boss Kent was like, isn't that great? Like Korea's really hot right now. It's like what?
People love Korea.
People are really into
the
Korea.
South one.
Yeah. So the history of para hockey, not invented in Canada, but we're gonna talk about. I mean, it's still hockey. Yeah. We're gonna talk about Team Canada a bit, but the sport of para hockey is an innovative team sport that incorporates the same rules and discipline structure as stand-up hockey. But sitting down in sledges. So the tool is still called a sledge. So this was invented by 3 Swedish wheelchair athletes on a frozen lake in Stockholm, Sweden in 1961.
Oh, that's way earlier than I would have thought.
Yeah.
To be
so
honest.
it was just 3. So these 3 guys were all wheelchair athletes, and they were at like they were in a facility for like a rehab facility. Okay. And so they're just like in Sweden and
bored out of their minds.
And they were just like, dude, let's go to the lake.
Because like how many I think like obviously para sports aren't as prevalent as regular sports, but then like winter para sports is like an extra tier of difficult to coordinate.
For sure. Difficult to coordinate and difficult to accommodate. So this is 1961, and these 3 guys are coined as like the creators of the concept. So to play hockey on kind of a sled. So they started off on sleds. So in 1979, Dick Losell, which I think that's how you say his name. It's Loiselle. So
Okay.
Loiselle. A former director of the 1976 Toronto Olympiad, brought back a sled from Europe given to him by Rolf Johansson, a Paralympic gold medalist in wheelchair track and field, and one of the 3 inventors of parahockey. So he was one of the guys in Sweden. It was given with the understanding that the Paraplegic Association of Canada would initiate a program for parahockey. However, the Paraplegic Association of Canada declined the proposal, and the opportunity was given to Jerry Johnson, who's the executive director of the Canadian Association for Disabled Skiing.
Okay.
So the Paraplegic Association of Canada was like, we don't have time to figure out this new sport.
Right.
We got bigger fish to fry. But, like, we'll definitely pass it on to somebody else.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. After the Canadian Association for Disabled Skiing also declined, and then said, they were like, no, we can't figure it out either. So then the Sledge was sent to Lane, who's Johnson's sister. So Johnson was the executive director of the Canadian Association for Disabled Skiing, and so he gives it to his sister-in-law. And she made a presentation to the city of Medicine Hat, Alberta. It just takes a woman. It just takes one woman to be like,
Medicine
all
Hat,
right,
Alberta.
let's just do this. So she allocated $42,000. So this is in 1980, and she allocates $42,000 for persons with disability in sport.
Of her, like, own money?
No, like
Okay.
like she raised
she
money.
raises it. Okay. That's a lot.
Yeah, so the issue was, though, that at this time she really had no program that she wanted to allocate that money towards. But with the
Right,
program presented by her brother-in-law, and it fulfilled all the necessary criteria, she was like, well, let's do parahockey. Like, let's do parahockey in Canada.
When I wonder, when was Man in Motion? So you have the Marathon of Hope in 1980, which is Terry Fox, and then Man in Motion was 1985.
Okay, yeah.
So, but yeah, like, it's interesting, like, that parahockey, I think there's clearly a national consciousness around paraplegic sport during this period of time.
Yeah. So now they have a program to put this money towards. They're like, $42,000, let's put it into parahockey. So it really took Canada, and probably, I mean, with Rick Hansen and with the culture of hockey in Canada, it probably seemed like a perfect kind of platform to try to get this rolling.
Yeah.
The sport really took off. So it was just really rapid. So the Sledge Hockey Association of Canada was created in 1993, and it was given the title of a national sport federation by the government of Canada that year. So they started kind of organizing training for Sledge, and the government of Canada was like, yeah, sure, it's a sport. It's a national sport. Mm-hmm. So, and that was like really key in coordinating the development to promote the sport of parahockey in Canada. In 1994, parahockey was introduced as a demonstration sport at the Paralympic Winter Games in Lillehammer, Norway. So the sport has since become a full medal event in the Paralympics. Canada has participated in parahockey in each Paralympic Winter Games, winning 1 gold in 2006, 2 silver in 1998 and 2018, and 2 bronze in 1994 and 2014. And in 2004, parahockey came under the umbrella of Hockey Canada, and so it is.
Oh, okay.
It's just it's just like women's hockey, men's hockey, parahockey. It's all under Hockey Canada. Yeah, and so that's kind of the quick history of parahockey, and I'm really excited this week because we have 4 free games happening at the LCLC in Bridgewater between South Korea and Team Canada. It's going to be really good. And I didn't know, because in wheelchair basketball, you can have able-bodied athletes playing as long as they remain in the wheelchair. But in parahockey, all of the athletes have a lower, like a lower extremity disability.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Why can you have full able-bodied athletes play wheelchair basketball? Like, why is it in, like, the Paralympics?
Yeah.
That
So you have to have so many on your team that aren't and so many on your team that are.
That's interesting.
It's weird.
I guess, like, if it was an issue of we can't field a team
right
without X number of, like, able-bodied people.
Yeah.
Because there just isn't enough interest. But, yeah.
And
That's cool.
on the Canadian para team, there is one Atlantic Canadian.
Oh.
His name is Billy Bridgers, and he's from PEI. He's from Summerside. And there's a whole bus of people coming up from Summerside to watch him because they haven't gotten to compete a lot in Canada this year.
Yeah,
And,
I can imagine with COVID and stuff.
It's been crazy. Well, that's the thing. Even the South Korean team, though, they've been in Canada for the last month just because they knew about, like, it's so much easier to be here, like to be in North America, than it is to kind of be in Korea right now with all of the COVID issues and things happening. So
Crazy.
Yeah, they were in the States and then Canada.
Well, good luck to all of them. I mean, it's just practice, but are the Paralympics this year as well?
It is. So this is kind of why this is happening, is because we were supposed to have the Paralympic Cup hosted at the LCLC in November like we did in 2016, which would have had 4 teams.
Right.
But then that got canceled because Hockey Canada just canceled all of their events because of COVID.
Right.
But then the Canadian para team approached us because the Paralympics are in 2022, but they're like this winter.
Yeah.
So they were like, it's a Paralympic year. We just want to have a training camp.
Right.
Great. Cool. So we said yes to that. About 2 weeks ago, they contacted us and said, oh, our like pals from South Korea are going to come and we want to play 4 games. And so then it was this mad rush to like prep everything. Well, because I mean, there's things you don't think about too. In stand-up hockey, when a player gets off the ice, they go and they sit on a bench. So you can't do that with sledge hockey because you don't get out of your sledge. So we had to get synthetic ice, which is literally just foam with like covering over it. And so then that all goes in so that they can just slide in and then just like sit. And then you have to take out the boards and put glass in so that they can watch the game while they're like seated behind the bench.
Oh, okay.
So just like little things that like you have to take into consideration for like a para sport. And just making sure everything is like can accommodate all of the para athletes. So, but yeah, it's been a really cool experience to get ready for. So.
Yeah, it's great that you guys were able to turn it around so quickly.
Yeah, it's been exciting. So, well, thanks everybody for coming back for another episode of the Minute Women Podcast. Another Have You Got a Minute to listen to us talk about some very quintessentially Canadian things today.
Yeah,
hockey and the Biebs and Tim Hortons.
And Timbits.
So just covering all the bases. We've got entertainment, we got sport, we got food.
We got Ryan Reynolds. We worked it in somehow.
Excellent. Yeah, so thanks for joining and for listening to another episode. And we look forward to having you join us next week.
Yeah, and don't forget to rate and review the podcast on Apple Podcast. Please go do that for us. Please, please, please. If you haven't gotten enough of us, you can go over to our website, minutewomenpodcast.ca, where you can find the whole back catalog of our podcast, link to our merch store, and link to all of our social medias if you want to reach out to us. And until next week, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.